All right, so welcome back. Let's go into the papers and see what they are reporting this morning. Brought to us by Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic. Today, I'm being joined by Joy News editor, senior one here, Elton Broby. I mean, when it comes to the political landscape, you don't go beyond this man. Elton, good morning.
Good morning.
Trust all is well.
I'm good. We're just keeping on.
Exactly. We're all keeping on. And hearing that the suspension of the COP and the other police officers has been suspended. I don't know. I mean, how did it come to you? I mean, I was shocked. I was like, Yeah,
I read it this morning. Indeed, remember that was the concern of so many people yesterday when the news broke that the police had taken the decision to interdict COP Alex Mensah and the two others.
Yeah.
Now, the conclusion was that the matter is still being investigated by the Parliament of Ghana, the ad hoc committee, and so it will be prudent for the police administration or the police council to allow Parliament to come to a decision on their investigation. And then if you want to go further to investigate within the police circles, that would have been good. And so for some of them, including the former CID boss, the position then taken by the police was premature. So this morning, I wasn't surprised when I saw the statement from the police suspending the interdiction of the three police officers. I think it's a step in the right direction. Now, in view of what that is happening, the leaked videos that is coming up here, and I don't know who is going to be interdicted going forward on this matter. But it is a very interesting matter happening within the police cycles. The police institution is supposed to be very professional, but the police motive is a service with integrity.
Yeah.
Now, the integrity aspect is being questioned in the public domain. In view of what we've heard and what is being told in the public domain. It doesn't appear that all is well within the top hierarchy of the police. There appears to be so much infighting, everybody trying to undo each other. There is intelligence competition among the top brass because somebody wants to be ahead of somebody, and that's clearly what is being played out in the public.
Interesting. I've heard someone say that there's a certain truth that is supposed to come out. But it looks like we were right, because yesterday when this issue came, we were talking about the fact that they couldn't have been interdicted because Parliament is doing this. When you do that, you
sort of truncate what Parliament is doing. Now, if I'm interdicted and I'm invited by Parliament to provide some evidence, I can use that as an excuse and say that I'm no longer in active service. I cannot be part of it. And then the other aspect too is that if I'm interdicted and I'm invited by Parliament to give evidence, then it's like there's no hold back.
So I can go
I can spill everything I want.
And again, then the potential new people who would have been invited would not freely come out because someone came here, said everything they have to say, they were interdicted. Should I do the same thing so that I won't do it? So it was going to, disrupt the work that Parliament is doing in a way, but let's see how this goes.
Yeah, because we are getting to a very important stage of this investigation, where on Tuesday, the select committee wants to now, the ad hoc committee wants to now invite the Inspector General of Police to appear before them. Now, the IGP has the opportunity to say that I want to appear in public or appear in camera. The other individuals, the claim is that they have more to say, but they are uncomfortable saying it in the public domain. So they want to have their testimony taken in camera. Alex Mensah and then George Asari. So on Tuesday, the committee want to hear them in public, in camera, and then take a decision to now invite the IGP to appear before them. But remember, some serious allegations have been leveled against the IGP in public. Is he going to respond to these allegations in public or in private? These are some of the things going to happen on Tuesday. So Tuesday is clearly a day for some kind of a showdown, to borrow Japan's word.
No, but there is one important question to be asked. On whose order were the officers interdicted, and on whose order is their suspension, their interdiction being suspended?
So the correspondence that we got, let me just run through the correspondence that we got. So this one that came in this morning, it says that following the interdiction of George Alex Mensah, Eric JB, and then George Asari in connection with the leaked audio, the police administration would commence disciplinary proceedings into their conduct upon completion of the ongoing probe by Parliament. In order not to prejudice the ongoing probe, the police administration has suspended their interdiction. So the order is coming from the police administration, not the police council. So the police administration, that clearly the person at the helm of affairs is what the IGP. I'm thinking that in matters of this nature, at the level of the COP, COP is the last stage.
Yeah.
Being an IGP is clearly a political appointment.
Yeah.
So all the IGP, Alex Mensah, they are all at the same rank. It is just by providence that somebody has been elevated to become IGP. Now, in terms of suspension, when it relates to people at that level, my understanding is that it has to sometimes come from the president in consultation with the council or the police council. This release that's been on from yesterday up to now, the catch here is that it's coming from the police administration. No reference is made to the role of the police council or whoever. So.
Okay, interesting. Because I've heard people tell me that decision could only have been taken by the council.
Exactly.
And not any other
police
person.
Administration. Maybe they've gone through what is suspected of them, and that probably explains why they've taken this U-turn. But let's see how the coming days will tell us.
Interesting. There's a story on the front page of the Daily Guide.
So I think the Daily Guide is late on this matter, and I don't blame them because the subsequent statement came quite late yesterday in the early hours of this morning. So the front page of the Daily Guide says that IGP fires COP Mensah, 2 others over leaked tape, and the information is already out there. These gentlemen, they appeared before an ad hoc committee in Parliament, and then because they had sworn an oath to tell the truth and nothing but the truth. So they were bound to tell the truth, and that's exactly what they did. That is according to them, the truth according to them. And so the police took some action because of what the police code of conduct says, that you cannot be involved in some of these matters in public. And that's the reason why they have been interdicted. But the question is, they disclose some of these things in public because they were compelled to do that by a constitutionally mandated body, as the Parliament of Ghana, which represents the people. So I think these are matters subject to interpretation by the lawyers. And so the latest on this matter is that the police took a decision to suspend these individuals, and now the police are taking another decision to suspend the suspension. The suspension they issued earlier, and that is the situation as we have it. So that is what is on the front page of the Daily Guide. IGP fires COP Mensah, 2 others over leaked.
Even the education we are getting is that the interdiction, the right word that they should have used when if you are suspending it, is lifted. And not suspended. So even the police themselves are saying that this is like a new thing that is coming, Well, they are learning new things by the day. Of course. It looks like things were done in a rush, really.
Absolutely.
So that's why we're seeing all of that,
So the other stories making the headlines in the Daily Guide, it looks like the Kyerematen matter will not go away anytime soon. And the NDC says that they want him to join them.
Okay.
The joiners, NDC, invite Kyerematen. The story is that the largest opposition party, the NDC, has surprisingly invited Kyerematen to join the party. The strange invitation comes barely few days after Kyerematen withdrew from the ruling New Patriotic Party presidential election scheduled for this year. Top member of the NDC in the Ashanti region, Ofori Agyeman Buedi, also known as Kenzu, a former MCU for Obuase, who extended the invitation, said Alan is certainly not happy in the MPP. According to him, he has realized that Alan decided to bow out of the MPP November 4 election due to constant maltreatment by the MPP fraternity. And this is a story by Joe Ewa, a very good friend of mine.
Okay. Will he consider this?
I really don't think so. I really don't think so. That is to join NDC, we're better if we went independent.
Yes, So I mean, independent. There's no way.
Absolutely, that is you standing on your own.
Yeah.
But to move to your opponent's camp, that I don't think
they can let him with vice presidential position, isn't it? It's better than not.
In fact, I've already seen flyers making rounds. Alan and John Mahama for the NDC ticket.
Okay.
That is what is making rounds. But Alan himself says that he will have the opportunity to tell us his political future. Wait to see that day. But clearly, there are still issues regarding this matter. First was the decision to now say that I'm no longer contesting the November 4 National Delegates Conference of the party. The party says that the issues he raised are matters already before a disciplinary committee of the party, and they are almost through with their investigation. So they were kind of surprised and used the word regrettable that he took this decision. The camp hasn't spoken yet, so it's unclear their next move. But what we do know is that there's been a lot of overtures the last few days. In fact, even before the announcement, that he wouldn't contest, I'm very much aware of moves that were made by certain individuals to scuttle his decision. And remember that first was a news conference that was scheduled for 10 a.m., moved to 2 p.m. because a lot of interest came to play. And then eventually decided that they would cancel the news conference and then came out with this statement.
Yeah. Interesting. It means that political decisions cannot be arrived at just at a go.
At all. I mean,
a lot of interest.
I mean, you have people who have supported you, who are members of the MPP, because they like you and they believe in your qualities. They were of the view that you make a better president. So that's the reason why they decided that against
all odds,
the most vital voice in the NDC and the MPP, they decided that they would follow Alan Kyerematen. And then there are your financiers, people who funded your campaign, and then your core supporters as well. So you needed to listen to all of them before taking such a decision. Now, I heard people say that he is thinking of going independent. And I also know that some of the people who followed him, key members of the MPP, made it clear to him that the MPP is our only home. If you're going independent, we will follow you.
Oh, okay.
So there are a lot of things happening, but I know for sure that Alan is not consumed.
Which means independent is out of
from what we are hearing. It doesn't look like something that you want to even consider. But who is he going to support in the November 4? Is he going to even support anybody? And the rumor we are hearing that there's been some extended hand to say that why don't you accept the position of a running mate so that you partner the likely candidate to emerge winner in November 4, and that is the Vice President Dr. Muhammad Bawumia. Why don't you accept so that once you accept, the issue of confusion, disunity in the party will be addressed head on. Because the only bloc currently in the MPP that is seen as rival to the establishment candidate is Alan Kyerematen. And he represents a bloc that people wouldn't want to admit, but clearly the Kufuor faction in the MPP. And these people, some of them, are not Hininto, Yabuabena, Samwa, maybe
Kwabena Japan himself.
Yeah, and a lot of them. Remember that even though some will say that even though their party is in power, some of them are in opposition in their own party. So this is a major bloc. Now they have influence. If I could go
PNM,
and then if you look at Kofi Ajayi's analysis of the voting trends in the Ashanti region, vis-a-vis Alan's contribution and all that, how it drops, how it rises, it tells you that the bloc is very important. I know, for example, that in the last few days there's been a lot of talks about it. In fact, the talk started before all of them declared their intention to contest the presidential race. The talks about whether you allow. Why don't you deal with the factions in the party? Why don't you address all the concerns in the party? So why don't you let these two individuals who are so powerful to go together?
I remember that discussion.
To go together. And then I remember Kyerematen Mensah once said that he actually went to see former President Kufuor to suggest the idea to him that why don't you speak to Alan, allow Alan to partner the vice president to go to. Because Dr. Bawumia cannot be vice president forever. Yes, there has to be natural elevation. And President Kufuor's response was that allow the party people to decide who they want them to lead. And so that suggestion or that move by Kyerematen
collapsed.
But now it has resurrected and people are pushing because the assumption is that once they're able to deal with this matter, the MPP will have no issue going into the 2024 election. They would have dealt with the factions and the disunity that is clearly beginning to emerge in the party. Is Alan going to accept the position of running mate to the vice president? Should the vice president emerge winner in the November polls? I mean, these are matters that is being discussed at the very top end. Hopefully, hopefully after November, we'll hear something.
We'll know. But from what you know, is it a likely thing that the Alan camp will accept that, okay, let's become the running mate to whoever wins?
I think their point has always been that the system has never been fair to them. They've raised issues about intimidation of their supporters, but they've raised issues about the fact that there appears to be an entire government machinery and party machinery behind one candidate. So the playing field is not level. And no matter what they do, they have the view that they will not be able to match up with the resources available to the vice president's camp. So it will be a match ado about nothing. You are not likely to win the November 4 election. Because when it comes to resources, you don't have it. If people are moving at 100, you are around 10. How are you going to catch up?
Okay.
That is the issue. So, and the feeling is that because the resources are available, because there appears to be, an executive endorsement, an executive backing. That is the Alliance camp concern. And that's the reason why, for my information, he took the decisions that he took, apart from the issues of intimidation and violence that, characterize not the entire Superdelegates Congress, but especially in the North. And then it was a trigger to, now tell him that you don't have to go. And then secondly, you can't rule out his performance in the Superdelegates Congress when he came third behind the vice president and of course Kennedy Japan. So he himself has personal issues to deal with, but clearly his concerns is what the party is looking at.
Well, on the day of the elections, I spoke with Kwabena Japan and he hinted that even before the superdelegates, he had met with some people to look at the idea of coming together.
Of course.
So now that Kwabena Japan is out, Alan is out, is that still being considered as in pitching camp with any of the four in the race now?
I think it's something that they have to seriously consider. Wache Yakun also made the same point that before the Superdelegates Congress, the 9 other contestants met, they spoke to each other, and the conclusion was that after the Superdelegates Congress, or maybe going into the November 4 election, if there should be a runoff, who do they support? And they appeared to have taken a decision that they will back whoever
places second.
Whoever places second in the runoff. So, and their decision was not in favor of the vice president.
Okay.
So now that we have 4, Dr. Fiye, Adainimo, Kennedy Japan, and then the vice president, who are they going to support? If they should go by their own established agreement, then you can conclude that they will be supporting Kennedy Japan against the vice president.
Interesting. That would be a tough contest.
It will be a tough contest, but I think it will be. I think from the way things are looking, it will be difficult for anybody to be the vice president. To be the vice president.
Oh, okay. Yes. Will you be shocked if Kennedy Japan comes up today to say, okay, I've considered things, I don't think I would want to run?
I'll be shocked.
You will?
I'll be shocked.
Okay.
I expect the vice president to win more than 70%.
Oh, okay. You don't expect Kennedy to pull out, but you want him to go, but the vice president will win more than 70%.
The party appears to have taken a decision on this matter, and it's not a decision that they are prepared to change their minds on.
Interesting. Okay, so that's from the political colossus here. One of the political colossus, Elton Brope. So take everything he says in that regard highly. Now, let me move on to the final newspaper. It says, women, children voices sidelined in climate action is a fatal error. And that's according to Second Lady Samira Baumia. In all of the discussion about climate change and what have you, women have not been at the forefront.
No.
We've seen men, and he says that really, if you want to take such actions and you take out the women and the voices of children, that is suicidal. Now she says that she's confident that this can and will catalyze a movement that harnesses the power of voices previously unheard. Now she's, quote, our shared goal is to amplify the often unheard voices of African women and children, recognizing their unique experiences, perspectives, and potential contributions in steering our continent towards a sustainable and resilient future, she stressed. So let's see how the powers that be will consider this. I think that's important we bring in women.
It's very important. Climate change is a global issue now, and women, because of their role, even in farming. I mean, we have a lot of women engaged in works that impact directly on the environment. And if we are serious about this climate change matter, then I think that the call is in the right direction. I know that she participated in the Kenya event.
Yeah, because she was speaking at the high-level dialogues of African Women and Children Conference at the African Climate Summit Week taking place in Kenya.
Exactly. So let's move beyond the talks and then actualize the things that you want to. She is in a very influential position, and I expect her to lead and bring meaning to the things that she's talking about. It's not enough to just stand on an international platform and make all the beautiful noise, but then when it comes to reality, it's rather the opposite.
Yeah, I know she has a women's conference that I think was even done 2 months ago.
Yes.
Maybe that could be one of the platforms by which you use to mobilize the voices of women.
Very important. In fact, our own president is the AU's gender champion. These accolades are given to them not because they are handsome or whatever. It is because of some commitment that I think that the framers came to, that they can do a better job. So let's see more of that.
Anyway, good news for bondholders.
Yeah.
Bondholders who participated in the domestic debt exchange program have received a total of 2.3 billion cedis as their coupons, which mature on August 22. The Finance Ministry in a statement said over 2 billion was paid to holders of exchange bonds in respect of their treasury bonds as if such exchange bonds had been issued on 21st February 2023 and held by such holders as of 22nd August 2023.
It's a very good news. It's very welcoming that government is living up to expectation. The pensioners who usually go and picket at the Finance Ministry, now that they are being paid, we don't hear anything. But if the Finance Ministry is paying, that's all well and good. Yeah, so I know that the external debt exchange is also another big hurdle that government has to cross. Over $20 billion at stake. And this week we broke the news that government is proposing a 35% haircut. Government is pushing interest payments on these loans about between 11 and $14 billion to 2026. And these are the proposals before the external creditors. Government is hoping that they will be able to come to some decision. The IMF review, the first review is starting on the 25th of September. If we are successful, then we're going to have another release of $600 million. We understand that the IMF managing director herself is sitting on Ghana's case. Yes, on Ghana's case to review, and the expectation is that we'll make some good progress. But it's a step in the right direction.
Okay.
Just that in 20, there's a bit of a fear. There's a big challenge ahead after 2025. Whoever wins the 2025 election will have a lot of issues. Because most of the things that you postpone, most of the debt payment that you postpone
will come within that period.
Exactly.
So if we don't make more money, we will find
exactly.
Okay.
So there's also another very interesting issue. The Electoral Commission is starting the limited voter registration exercise from Tuesday, September 12th. They are targeting to register 1,335,000 new voters across the country. Now, because of logistical and financial constraints, we need to be blank on this matter. There isn't enough money for the issue to do this exercise. So they've restricted the registration to their district offices. So you locate a district office in your area, then you go and register if you are a first-time voter. The NDC, they have issues with it. But the MPP, subtly, also urged the Electoral Commission to consider expanding it so that the registration will be available just a few meters from wherever. And yesterday, for example, the NDC went to court together with 4 other political parties. They've taken a decision against the Electoral Commission decision to limit the registration to district offices. And they are asking that the court injunct the exercise expected to start on Tuesday, September 12th. The court has given indication they will take a decision when to sit on the matter on Monday.
Okay.
When the thing is taking place
On Tuesday.
So it's unclear whether they will be successful in their injunction application, or the EC, as independent as it's supposed to be, will be able to go to. But let's face this.
I'm sure it will come down to what you said.
Exactly. The EC there isn't enough finances to do that. And then again, the catchword here is limited voter registration. And so it's not
the major one.
Exactly. So let's see. But the NDC and the others who've made comments, they have genuine concerns, especially if you are living in the island areas.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to travel to certain places before you can have the opportunity to register. I think it is something that is easy. I mean, the worst thing you can do is to disenfranchise somebody for no fault of theirs. And then we have election to prosecute. Former President Mahama described it as very critical for the country. So let's see. And then your very own
George
Duka. He says we must be loyal to the MP. He says nobody is bigger than the NDC. No one individual
than the NPP
can say that they big, not even President Akufo-Addo. He himself has one body. He made that point very clear.
Okay.
And George Duka, Deputy Minister, has issued a call to members of the party as they approach the November 4 elections. He says that he emphasized the party's rich history, noting that the MPP principles and accomplishments and the leadership of John Nana Akufo-Addo have had a profound impact, and the party members must be loyal. They should forgo their individual and selfish interests for the betterment of the party going into the 2024 elections. And then again in the paper, if Alan leaves MPP, then he's on his own. The same matter as Kopio. And this is coming from
OPK,
one of
his,
exactly. So that's, and I really don't think that Alan, an experienced politician after all these years in the MPP, from the young executive forum to ambassador to minister for trade, and then back again as minister for trade, 3-time presidential aspirants would take such a decision.
Yesterday, I was telling someone that he now has the opportunity of becoming the godfather to a lot of people.
Exactly.
So from where he is now, the decision to leave the party is not the best. The best will be to stay within the party and probably become the go-to person. Like Kufuor now, even though Kufuor became president. So it could be a little different. But Kufuor has a lot of people who go to him today before they take any decision in the party. So that's something he can even take, because like you said here, for the Kufuor camp, he looks like the next in line. So if today President Kufuor is not able to do the things that he has to do, the best person to do it will be Alan Kyerematen. So really, it will be in his own interest to stay in the party. And that call by Duka, well, let's see how
if they will listen to
it. Will react to it.
And then some health issues as well. If you live around Makola, Nima, the results from air quality monitoring in Accra have revealed that Nima, Makola, Boblochi, Choko, Madina, Zongo Junction are the 5 most polluted hotspots in Accra. These areas have recorded most consistently poor quality of air standard over the period, with their sources mainly being sought from open waste burning and emission from vehicles. Professor Kofi Amega, the Breath Accra project lead, told the GNA that these pollutants and particulates were harmful to human health. And so you see, Brace, I have always had issues with fumes that's come out of vehicles. You know, in the advanced country, when you take your car for it to be examined for roadworthiness, emission is one of the things you have to pass. If your car fails the emission test, it will not be allowed to be on the road. I mean, there's a standard within which every car must conform to. If your vehicle is unable to meet that standard, it will not be certified to be on the road. Here in Ghana, you drive behind a vehicle and all you see is black smoke. And look at the harm it is causing to people. One vehicle, but by the time you move from, let's say, Circle to Achimota, look at how many people health would have impacted by the fume that comes of it. The last time we had this engagement with the DVLA, I brought this forward, and the board chairman, lawyer Frank Davis, said that it's one of the things that they are considering seriously to see how best they can address these matters. A doctor was on the drive time on Joy FM, and he said that they're getting so many people in the hospital, and when they check, their lungs and some vital bodies have been destroyed. So the conclusion was these people have been smoking, and then they did an investigation and realized that they've not been smoking at all.
Yeah.
Yes, they've been exposed to these things, and it's killing people on a daily basis.
And all those places you mentioned are the places where you don't find enough trees.
At all.
Trees that could have absorbed the carbon dioxide. We don't have them.
You don't have them.
Really.
And so it is DVLA, they have a lot of work to do. They need to step up their game. I mean, it's not enough to just, license people to drive or license vehicles to be on the streets. But what else are you doing to protect the health of the people? Some of these vehicles I call them disease vehicles.
Yeah, that's true. All right, thank you very much, Elton. Thank you so much for coming.
So I'll see you later. We have Wachi party very soon.
Oh, okay. That's good. That's a good one. Is it on the way?
Of course, on the way.
I see this one. Well, so Elton Brove is an editor here at Joy News, and we're grateful that he joined us today. And thanks to Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic for helping us out with the news review. Up next is the AM Sports.
Can I just say, the former minority leader, Haruna Idrisu, Member of Parliament for Tamale South, today is his birthday. So let me just say a very happy birthday to a very good friend of mine.
Oh,
a very, very good friend of mine. We share so many things.
Yeah.
We eat together. I mean, we are practically brothers. Yeah, our relationship goes beyond politics. So today is Haruna's birthday, and I want to say happy birthday to the Member of Parliament for Tamale South, Haruna Idrisu, as we celebrate another milestone. May God continue to bless him.
Yeah. As for your friendship, it's just admirable. I mean, anytime I watch it, I'm like, wow. And thanks, he gave me a tie the first time I came here.
That's nice.
He says that, look, I have beautiful ties, so I'll give you one. He gave me one after the show. Also, Honorable Haruna, happy birthday to you. From all of us here at Joy News, we say, may God continue to bless you. You are such an asset for the country. And may all your secret prayers be answered. We say that on a certain note. All right. So thank you very much. AM Sports is up next. And today, we've got Prime Take with Muftau Nabila. And today, he'll be speaking to George Efri, a GFA presidential hopeful. We've had some development there, but this conversation was on Tuesday before his disqualification on Thursday. He says he will appeal the decision of the Elections Committee, which means he still has some hope of having his name on the ballot paper. There's more coming, but just before, Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic is offering free prostate screening and free female fertility screening in Accra. You can locate them at Spintex opposite Shell signboard. In Kumasi, Kronoma Bohia behind Angel Educational Complex. In Takrade, they are located at the Anaja Estate, Tema Community 22, and in Techiman, Hanswa. In the Nzima area, they are in Esiama. Give them a call on 0244-867068, 0244-867068, or 0274-234321. Endpoint Homeopathic Clinic, the end to chronic diseases. All right, so up next is Prime Take with Muftau Nabila Abdullahi.
It is another special moment.